Hello, fellow Milanisti. It's your friendly neighborhood lab gorilla. I didn't want to make this video, but I think I need to for posterity. It may seem over the top, maybe too emotional, but that is why I became a football fan to support the colours, to support the club, to support an ideal. Culture is tribal, but there comes a point when you have to admit that enough is enough. I am not going to repeat my stories about how long I have supported the club, but here are my observations. These are my thoughts. They are not a reflection of the Milanista 360 channel, so don't label them with what you're about to hear. Since Jerry Cardinale arrived, our club has gone into a death spiral. I believe that he gave management a clear mandate: make money at all costs, do just enough to stay afloat, fool the fans if you have to, but be in profit by financial year end. Teams are split into a commercial side, making money from ticket sales, merchandise, collaborations, sponsorships, marketing. For a time, this side performed, and I believe that it is keeping the club in profit today. But this led to monstrosities, such as what I call the tie dye shirt, the lime green shirt, made with Milanismo, remember, and the New York Yankees collaboration apparel with a badge that must have been conceived when someone was sitting on the toilet taking a shit. I made a mistake. I bought merchandise. I helped the status quo, something that I now deeply regret. I took my whole family to Milan recently, and I genuinely wish I hadn't. To me, AC Milan 2024 is not a club that represents my vision of the Associazione. Gabbia may be there, and he represents some indication of Milanismo. But my truth is that he's only there because of a desperately inept manager, and he was desperate, scrambling, looking for answers after a summer mercato that brought in a player in Pavlovic who is so raw, so unrefined that he cannot be trusted, even in training. To me, Fonseca is nothing more than a symptom of the problem, bought in only for his cheap wages. Credit being given to him for Leao and Theo benchings astound me. He is not a mastermind. He is not a tactical genius. If all players were fit, none of the future kids would touch the grass on the match day. That is a fact. I've stood back and said very little when supporter after supporter, channel after channel, admired him after Reindeer and Musa had performed in a couple of matches. Some even indicating that 2 games is the time span necessary to gauge if a player is world class. No. To me, Fonseca is a pawn in a game being played by none other than Elliott management. But I'll get to that point later. Ibrahimovic is the next one. To me, he was a sinister appointment. He is not a club legend. He is not someone who understands Milan well. And to me, today, I will say that I want him to leave and to never see him at the San Siro again for what he has done and said since his appointment. Moncada, for masterminding the removal of Milanismo from the club. Leave now. Milan is not your base to try and build your French national team on. I don't care. The right players were there in summer markets. They were available, they were willing, they were waiting. You and your friends chose to listen to your mandate. Remove Milanismo from Milan. I will say it now. The day Maldini was removed by sacking from the club was the day a part of my own Milanismo died. This is where I stand on this. I do believe that players renewed contracts, reduced wages, and signed for Milan because Maldini was our technical director. I hear it all the time. No player is bigger than the club. I personally disagree. Some players are as big as the club and have contributed so much to our history that they deserve to have the freedom and choice to step into and out of roles at the club at their own volition. Maldini will go down in history as one of the greatest ever players, at the level of Pele or Maradona, Of that, I am personally sure. We are lucky to be around, to be able to benefit from his presence. He must be given an open door to return to the club. This is my opinion. Did he make mistakes as technical director? Absolutely, no doubt. But the judgment of being handed out today is based on 2 seasons without Maldini there, and none of us can judge how some of his signings would have grown under his regime. What I do know with certainty is that Moncada will never be an appropriate replacement for technical director, because that was Maldini's role. That is simply unacceptable and a slap in my face as a fan. To Forlani, I see him as the inside man, the man Elliott put in place to oversee their investment. On footballing terms, however, he is not fit to even clean Gazidis' shoes. A downgrade that I struggle to reconcile. He has okayed deals which have absolutely boggled the mind. As the CEO, he okayed deal after deal, awful acquisition after awful acquisition, sale after sale of incredible and young, exciting talent for cheap. Redbird, what do I say about Uccello Rosso? No one ever wants to have an Uccello Rosso, but ours is cracked, split, bleeding from the entire shaft. Jerry, get out. You never understood what you were doing. The country is hostile to you. The traditional fan base is hostile to you. We looked at you in awe. You were supposed to bring in a new era. But then you removed our greatest son, and then without a doubt, our future club captain. You gave a mandate of profit above all else, with the clear intention of making the club look like a good investment proposition. I hope you don't stay. I hope you default. I hope you are shown up. How someone in your position failed to do due diligence is beyond me. That is perhaps what surprises me the most, more than any of the moronic things you say at investor press conferences when you speak of my club. Yes, sir. Fans in Europe believe they are part of the club. We grow up with the club, perhaps for generations. We show our children the colours of the club. We share our passion. But you know what? You have succeeded. The sporting side of Milan 2024 has eroded away into nothingness. Milanismo is dead. All I see right now is men running around a field with colours, chants, and a stadium that is familiar, but it's just an empty shell. The sporting side is dead. It is dead. It's dead. Milanisti, don't hate me for saying this. I am one of you. But I can't keep contributing to this charade. I won't pay to watch another game live. I won't buy any more merchandise. I won't book any more trips to Milan. My answer to this chaos: lay waste to management. If Jerry is to stay, he must clear the decks completely. He has to show us that he admits his limitations and failures and makes serious movements towards restoring Milanismo in the club. Approach Maldini. Give him the freedom you have given Ibrahimovic to utterly change how everything is run, from installing people to run the Futuro to advising on sporting directors. Bring a manager who understands the league, and not only that, who will provide a genuine avenue for the young, incredible talent at our club to see the pitch in front of their adoring fans. Not wait for every lame senior player to be injured first. Competition for places is good, for God's sake. We must also clear the decks of players who do not represent the club in the light it should. You all know who I mean. Finally, to Elliot. Well played. Well played. You were not just playing chess. You were the chessboard itself. You controlled everything, and I have no doubt that you will win again. I can't figure out if Jerry was your victim or your bedfellow, but it doesn't matter. If they are to take the club back, I just hope they return to what they had previously. Let the sporting side be controlled by sporting people, not arrogant, inept, unqualified puppets. Forza Milan. Io spero di vederti ancora presto.